Despite the fact the Democrat Party replaced Joe Biden with Kamala Harris, Donald Trump maintains his lead. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with a new video, and today we have to talk about the 2024 presidential election because Donald Trump maintains his lead over Harris, and I know, Trump has been beating Democrats for about a year now, especially Kamala Harris, and polling with Harris and Trump's been absolutely demolishing her for like 3 years now. It's been bad for 3 to 4 years. So why is this a surprise? Well, this was supposed to be the best polling for Harris. This was right after she was all but confirmed to be the nominee, all right? The Democrat Party supposedly unified around Harris. They all endorsed her. She was supposed to see a mystical surge. Yeah, about that. A brand new CNN poll was just released. This was post-dropout, so you can't say, well, there's a possibility that this was before Biden dropped out and endorsed Harris or something crazy. Nope. This was after he dropped out. And the reason that this is a big deal is, well, this should be the best polling for Harris. We have been saying for days now that, yeah, right off the bat, we're probably going to see a quote-unquote polling surge for Harris because this is where voter enthusiasm should theoretically be at its maximum. Like, a bunch of Democrats are like, hell yeah, we're going to support Harris, we're going to volunteer for a campaign, donate our life savings, all of that. Well, guess what? Despite this supposedly going to be the best week of polling for Harris, right now, we are seeing no change. Just like I predicted. I actually thought that Harris was going to go up by a point or two, but nothing crazy. I didn't even think it was going to be this bad. I predicted it was not going to be this huge bump, but I didn't even realize that it was going to be this pathetic. Because compared to the last poll of Trump versus Harris with CNN, it was like Trump +2. Yeah, this is actually an improvement for Trump. And for those that don't believe me, look at this. Their last poll was like June 28th or June 30th, and Trump was up by 2 points. Okay? That's right here, against Kamala Harris. Now he's up by 3. And you notice something? Both Trump and Harris gained. This isn't a poll where, oh, Harris collapsed or something. No. Both candidates gained. And Trump is now at 49%, which in my opinion might be the most significant part of the poll. He's at 49%. That means if you account for undecideds, like even if they break for Harris like 4-1 or something crazy like that, Trump more than likely is already above 50%. It might be one poll, I get it. There's been other ones like Reuters that had Harris up by 2, but that poll is having Biden winning when everyone else was saying, oh yeah, he's done. So I'm going to wait and see for that one. But even then, it's like, she's up by 2. That's not a big lead, especially for someone that theoretically should have great polling right off the bat. And right now, she's not getting that. And let's look at why. Because just look at some of these numbers. Look at the young vote. Trump is losing the young vote by only 4 points. That's it. The more you look at this poll, the more you realize, oh, wait a minute. This is not good for Harris at all. Look at the independent vote. Look at this. This is Trump +3. Back in 2020, the independent vote went for Biden by, 13. So you're talking about, what is that, a 16-point shift in 4 years? Yeah, that explains why Trump is up by 3 points over Harris. The fact is, he is winning the independent vote. And not only that, he's already doing better, just vote share-wise, with these voters. So it's not like a situation where, oh, he's at 40% and Harris at like 20%. No, Trump is at 46% with independents. Back in 2020, he got 41% of the vote with them. That means Harris could theoretically win every single undecided voter that's an independent and would still be doing like, what, 10 points worse with them compared to 2020? That is awful. That's a 10-point shift in what, 4 years? Let's just keep going. Look at the moderate vote share. Trump is at 44%, while Harris is at 51%. That means, Harris is up by 7. Back in 2020, moderates voted for Biden by over 30 points. 30. And Trump got 34%. Just like independents, Trump is already doing 10 points better than he did back in 2020, no matter what. This is just not good. This is like DEFCON 1 for Democrats. I don't get why Democrats are not worried about this. This should be a huge problem, because you're talking about demographics that Biden needed to win just by a couple thousand votes in 2020 to now they're voting for Trump by huge margins. How is no one alarmed by this? Because this is clear as day. Harris has a big problem here. Even with white voters, she's doing worse with. People of color, she's doing worse with. It just, every demographic, she is doing worse than Biden. That's not good. Even non-college grads, they're shifting way more Republican. And funny enough, the only demographic that I could tell that hasn't shifted that Trump or shifted at all towards Trump are white college grads. As of now, they have Trump doing a couple points worse with white college grads. Compare that to 2020. 2020, Trump got, 48% with white college grads, and he lost them by 3. CNN right now has Trump losing them by 6. Outside of that one demographic, Harris is doing worse with every single group. How can you recover from that? I don't think you can. And funny enough, they're probably understating Trump's support with white non-college grads. He's already at 67% with them back in 2020. He got 67% of white non-college grads. But this demographic in every single poll, especially CNN, they always understate how much of the vote he gets with these people. They usually say he gets 55%. He ends up with 70%. Now these same polls have Trump at 67%. There's a good chance it's closer to 70%. It's closer to 71, 72% of the vote with white non-college grads. Hell, women are only breaking for Harris by 5 points. Back in 2020, they broke for Biden by, 15 points. And not only that, Trump got 42% of the vote in 2020. Right now, he's at 45% of the vote. Yeah. Once again, that means no matter what happens, she could win every single undecided voter in this voter block. And she would still be doing way worse with them compared to 2020. This is a disaster. There are no positives here at all. Now, some of you might be asking yourselves, well, okay, surely Democrats know this is a problem. Like, they cannot just ignore this, right? Well, I think they're not. I think they kind of realize that they're in such a shit situation, but some people believe no, they're just so incompetent that they really believe that these numbers are actually somehow good. They're not. Now, with these numbers in mind, how the hell can Harris win? Like, okay, if this is the current map, how can Harris even possibly win? Because if Trump wins Wisconsin, wins Michigan, wins Pennsylvania, he's got the presidency. Hell, he doesn't even need Michigan. He just wins Nevada. He doesn't even need Nevada. He just wins Georgia. At that point, he doesn't even need Wisconsin. There are so many pathways for Trump to win. Right? And we know for a fact, Trump is doing way better with white voters, especially white working class voters. If you really believe Kamala Harris is going to have the same appeal to voters in Scranton, Pennsylvania as Joe Biden did, you're delusional. Now, to be fair to Harris, I guess it is possible that somehow she could win the Rust Belt, through white college grads. I guess that's a possibility. It's very unlikely, but fine, whatever. But either way, let's just say, as of now, Trump has Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania locked down. I think the demographics in these states, they're not good for Harris. I'm not saying that Trump is going to win these states for sure, but let's just say for now, Trump is in a really good situation in the Rust Belt. Now, could that change? I guess, but as of now, to make it simple, we're going to say right now Trump is in a good situation in these 3 states, which I argue is common sense. I mean, seriously, do you really think Kamala Harris has the white working class appeal that Biden had? No. She has negative appeal with those voters. So this idea that she's going to win the voters in Scranton, Pennsylvania, I highly doubt it. But all right, let's say, okay, Harris lost the Rust Belt. In this situation, let's start with the Democrat states. She wins New Mexico, Minnesota, Virginia, etc. Well, let's say, okay, she secures the Democrat states, the Democrat-leaning states, and she wins the Sun Belt. Even in that scenario, and of course Nebraska's second, Harris is still needing 11 electoral votes to win. Now, there is a couple states you could say, maybe Wisconsin, maybe Michigan, maybe Pennsylvania. I understand that. Like, okay, these are still swing states. There's a possibility that Trump could lose one of the states. I get it, but the more you look at it, the more you realize, even the Harris campaign might understand that these states might be out of reach for them. It might be. I'm not saying it's for sure a lost cause, but let's just say, okay, in this scenario, Trump is winning the Rust Belt. Well, there's only one real swing state left that the Harris campaign could target. North Carolina. Now, I am not saying Harris is going to win North Carolina. Hell, I think she's going to get crushed there. But I'm starting to wonder if they really believe their only pathway to the White House is through the Sun Belt. I know that sounds crazy on paper, like, why would you ignore Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin? Well, look at who some of the frontrunners for the VP slot are. Mark Kelly, Roy Cooper, Andy Beshear, Josh Shapiro's the only one that's actually in the Rust Belt. People like Mark Kelly and Roy Cooper, they're in Arizona and North Carolina. They're clearly in the Sun Belt. While Josh Shapiro, even Pete Buttigieg, he claims to live in Michigan now. That he's trying to claim he's from Michigan now because it's a swing state. Let's be real. But either way, outside of those two, right, the main frontrunners for the VP slot, they're from the Sun Belt. Even Andy Beshear, you could argue, is from the South, which he is. He's from Kentucky. So the more you look at this, the more you realize, wait a minute. Why is Harris considering picking Mark Kelly, Roy Cooper? They're going to have virtually no appeal in the Rust Belt. Now, I'm not saying that VPs matter that much. I still think at the end of the day, the VP selection, it's not going to decide the election. But it makes you really wonder, why pick someone from North Carolina? Why pick someone from Arizona? Someone from Kentucky? Why wouldn't you want to pick someone from the Rust Belt? Makes you really think, oh wait, they're going to try through the Sun Belt. Which I guess it's possible, maybe. But if Harris is doing awful with African Americans, with Hispanic voters, with white non-college grads, do you think it's possible that she could win North Carolina, win Georgia, win Arizona, even Nevada? It makes you really wonder, like, what is this campaign doing? But they must really believe that the Rust Belt is just out of reach. Because I don't get why you would pick Mark Kelly. I really don't. Outside the fact that he lives in Arizona, he represents the state, that's the only thing, I guess, because it's a swing state. But why wouldn't you want to pick someone from Michigan or Pennsylvania? Because in reality, these are the states that are going to decide the election, on paper at least. Because even if Trump wins Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, even Nebraska's second, which he won't, it would be tied. Which I guess it goes to the House, that scenario, but all Harris has to do at that point is win Nebraska's second, and she's the president. I don't get why they think it would be easier in Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina. I really don't. But the way this campaign has been acting makes you really think that they're going to try the Sun Belt strategy. Now, does that mean they're going to ignore the Rust Belt? I'm not saying that. But I really believe their main focus will be in the Sun Belt. We just got to see what happens, but the current polling indicates they might be better off targeting Georgia, North Carolina. They're unlikely to win those states, but at least you could argue maybe the demographics make more sense than the Rust Belt for Kamala Harris. We just gotta see. But anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.